Free Japan Channel number 170. Today, February 8th, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. Good evening, everybody. It is election day here in Japan. Prime Minister Takaichi dissolved the lower house, and the election was today. Now 6 p.m. and the election will be held until 8 p.m. Therefore, the result is not clear yet. It is midnight or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock a.m. tomorrow that we will know the final result of today's election. This time, FGC 170, I'd like to analyze the result of this election. Of course, as I said, the final result is not clear at all. Therefore, my analysis this time includes some kind of prediction. The ruling party, Liberal Democratic Party, will get the absolute majority 261. In Japanese lower house, 261 is the figure where the ruling party can pass the law anytime, because this is the absolute majority. No other parties can compete with Liberal Democratic Party when LDP gets more than 261. Therefore, if the Liberal Democratic Party exceeds this figure, 261, then the stability of Takaichi cabinet is guaranteed. Therefore, 261 is the key figure regarding the result of this election. On the other hand, the opposition party, centrist Reform Union, will decrease its seats from 160 to 80 or so, which means the half of original figure. This unpopularity of centrist Reform Union is clear in the public poll preceding the election. Here in FGC, I already explained the absurdity of this centrist Reform Union, because Kome Party is a religious party, but Constitutional Democratic Party is a socialist party. In principle, religious party is not compatible with socialist party, but this impossible thing can be possible in the case of centrist Reform Union. Of course, Japanese students are not so stupid not to discern this stupidity of this new party. Therefore, the half of the original figure. This is a prediction about centrist Reform Union. Sansei Party is also a key party in this election. Sansei Party had 3 seats in lower house before this dissolution, and it is expected that this party will get more than 10 seats. Therefore, at least 3 times. Therefore, the success of Sansei Party is already promising. However, Sansei Party could have achieved more success if the Prime Minister of LDP had been other person than Mrs. Takaichi. In reality, Mrs. Takaichi is there. Therefore, Sansei Party could not increase its momentum in this election. Mrs. Takaichi is known to be a conservative female politician, and Sansei Party is also a conservative party which is opposed to globalism or immigrants or the purchase of Japanese land by foreigners. Therefore, the popularity of Prime Minister Takaichi directly influences the figure of Sansei Party. Sansei Party is robbed of its vote, its seats, by the popularity of Prime Minister Takaichi because Sansei Party and Prime Minister Takaichi are both conservative, and conservative vote are this time streaming to Takaichi cabinet. She is very popular. Ishin Party also entered the coalition government before this election. Ishin Party has been aiming at the success of its Osaka metropolis project. This time, Ishin decided to hold Osaka governor election and Osaka mayor election on the same day of the lower house election, that is today. Ishin also said that when both governor and mayor can be elected from Ishin candidate, then Ishin Party can be confident that Osaka residents are now ready to consider again the possibility of Osaka metropolis project. Ishin Party will hold referendum in Osaka prefecture if governor and mayor are re-elected in this election. Therefore, this is a very important election for Osaka residents. Although I'm not sure whether Osaka residents are aware of the importance or not. Anyway, depending on the result of tonight's election, Ishin Party will be aggressive in proceeding its Osaka metropolis project. Personally speaking, I'm for the project, but I'm Kanagawa resident, therefore I cannot participate in the referendum of Osaka prefecture. Of course, I cannot. This time, election is very important for the future of our country, Japan. Our future depends on its result tonight. Therefore, I'm now paying attention to the result of tonight, even from now, 6 p.m. will Takaichi cabinet really be able to achieve its promises to the citizens this time? Takaichi said that she would tackle the amendment of Japanese constitution and increase the budget for the military force. Of course, I also agree with this increase of military budget and amendment of Japanese constitution. However, according to me, the most important issue in this election would have been the immigrant issue. Japan is now facing a massive immigrant influx. However, Japan should close the door to these immigrants. We should only glance at the miserable situation of France, Germany, and UK, of course, of the United States, to see the brutality of the society which accepted immigrants massively. Each country has now its own social problem concerning immigrants. Immigrant issues are the most imminent issue in each country. And Japan is relatively exempt from this immigrant problem because Japan has not accepted so many immigrants yet. However, the previous LDP leaders are of the opinion that Japan should accept more immigrants in the future. And curiously enough, a conservative politician, Mrs. Takaichi, says nothing about this issue, immigrant issue. Can we be really sure of her conservative nature? If she is really a conservative politician, she will disagree with the influx of immigrants. However, economic leaders in Japan are putting a huge pressure on Liberal Democratic Party politicians in order to accept immigrants from overseas because economic leaders, so leading companies, can reduce its wage thanks to the industrious immigrants. They work for the lower wage, but this is the collapse of Japanese economy. Especially poor Japanese people would suffer from the competition with these immigrants in the near future. I am of the opinion that Japan should not accept these immigrants because the bad influence is on the poor people here in Japan. Although the leading companies are so willing to accept these immigrants from overseas. The result of this time election is very important. The whole result will be clear tomorrow's 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. I will broadcast the result here in FJC. Please wait until tomorrow. Thank you.